Sega has a lot of classic IPs locked away in their vault. They'll occasionally act like a sadistic prison warden, affording old franchises a brief moment back in the sunlight, before dragging them kicking and screaming back to their cell. The Shinobi series is one of those that has been relatively hidden away for the last 15 years, with only a portable title and a handful of cameo appearances to appease fans. This was not always the case though. In the late 80s and early 90s, Shinobi was one of Sega's premier franchises, with games in the arcade, on home consoles, and, as we'll be discussing today, on portable devices. Whilst the Mega Drive was the best overall place to get your ninja fix, the Game Gear managed to hold its own. In fact, one of the best games on the system was the GG Shinobi. The story is fairly simple. The master of the Oboro school of Shinobi has uncovered a dark force at work in Neo City. He sends in several of his warriors, but one by one they fail to report back in. He turns to our hero, Joe Musashi, to rescue the other Shinobi and eliminate the threat in Neo City once and for all. Right off the bat, you'll be able to see the massive influence that the Japanese Sentai culture has had on the game. Joe Musashi is actually the Red Shinobi, and he's out to rescue Pink, Yellow, Blue, and Green. A couple of sprite tweaks here and there, and this game could have been re-released throughout the West as a Power Rangers game.
Recruit a team of teenagers with attitudes.
This all sets a stage for the way the game plays out. As Joe, you're able to select which order you tackle the stages in, and, consequently, which order you rescue the other Shinobi. This is important as, once you rescue one of your compatriots, you're able to swap between characters during gameplay. This doesn't just mean a palette swap. Each coloured ninja has their own weapon and magical power. A good comparison point is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game for the NES. Only this time, you won't feel the need to sacrifice the rest of your characters to keep Donatello alive. The presentation is top-notch for a handheld game. Being a Game Gear title, the game is in full colour. However, it manages to tread a fine line between being colourful and being messy. Colours pop, but never quite overwhelm the detailed sprite work and clever effects. It's all managed with a sense of class and restraint, which seems appropriate for a Shinobi game. The stages in the game are quite large, made up of several screens that often act as separate sequences. For example, the highway stage starts with your ninja jumping from car to car as they travel at speed along a road. Then the stage transitions to a set of buildings, which you have to climb to get to the next section. You won't find many simple left to right stages in this game, as most of them will require you to explore the vertical space as well to get to the next scene. Meanwhile, the action is fairly simple, as is often the case on the Game Gear when you only have two main buttons to work with. Each different coloured Shinobi has a unique normal attack. Some are close-range fighters, whilst others use different sorts of projectile weapons. They also each have a unique magic attack, from a smart bomb-esque screen clearer to the ability to freeze time. These unique character traits definitely add another layer of strategy to the game, as you may want to tackle challenges within each level by using a particular character's talents. It also means that you have to decide which order to do the stages in, since you may want to save a particular character first to use on another stage. In this way, the GG Shinobi has a very similar flow to the Mega Man games. There's actually a wide variety of enemies in the game, with unique attacks and movement patterns to boot. They'll often leap into the stage through windows in the background or from behind boxes, so you need to stay on your toes for the entire time. Unfortunately, this highlights one of the major flaws for the game. As with many Game Gear games, the size and shape of the screen leaves very little room for error, as the action takes up most of the viewable area. It means that you'll often find yourself hit by projectiles thrown by enemies off the screen, or attacked by an enemy that leaps from just beyond your range of sight and is too quick for you to reasonably react to. It can make for a frustrating experience, which is sadly not uncommon for these sorts of games on the Game Gear. In the case of the GG Shinobi, it's not game-breaking, but it does hurt the gameplay somewhat, which is a shame. Despite some minor flaws, which are mostly related to the hardware, the GG Shinobi is one of the best games on the Game Gear. It features simple, well-executed platforming gameplay that adds in just enough wrinkles to keep the player on their toes. Finally, it also features some of the best music on the Game Gear. It's not a huge surprise when you realize that Yuzo Koshiro was the composer. His credits include the other Shinobi games, the sublime ActRaiser, and, of course, the Streets of Rage series. It's no wonder that the GG Shinobi features a soundtrack that is, in technical terms, absolutely bangin'.